Ah, okay, we're here. It's alright. See them killing themselves. Sermagand. And this is the funny road silence moment. No, later. Yeah, okay, I've read this. The doctor will be here soon. You're crying, Viviana. I don't think I have the strength to wipe away your tears anymore. Oh, lady, why did you have to do this? You're too kind, too gentle. I often think back to the day we first met. I'd come from Zwillingstürme to Stromland just to take you out of Furnace Bar. You huddled in the backseat, holding onto your tiny suitcase and gently against my chest. I was wondering, was that a little girl scared to leave her father? Scared life in foreign Casimirs, but no. We're just trying to stay low, so no one would see your horns and cause trouble for. Even that was so late at night, and no one would have paid attention to a car leaving the great spires of the Kurfürsts. So little back then. I don't remember, but and you do. You can lament, you can blame, you can mourn, you can regret, and you can rage. All that and only then can you? Please don't leave me. You're the only one I have left. Let me see you one last time. Yeah, Cora, literally. This poor girl. Right here. So glad I can see the expressions in your face right now. You deserve a better life than this, Viviana, if there really is one. Well, as the Empress's tower is, it's not endless, or so she believes. The spiral like a staircase extends before her, but the direction itself seems to be torn apart by some unknowable power. She keeps moving forward, but she can't make any progress. Viviana is tired, and when one is tired, it is easy to notice what one has lost. Not unlike the 22 years of her life. Very lost. Hmm? She is a young Caprine woman whose face is filled with curiosity and concern. Sorry I might have bumped into you in my hurry. Oh, I think I know who this is. It's alright. Okay, you look very pale. I'm fine, I was just thinking about something. Do you know this place well? Yeah, I live nearby. Where does this lead? Didn't you come here on your own? Where it leads is entirely up to where you want to go. Take care now, I'll be going. Where I want to go. Diana's fingers brush the handrail next to her. Paint covers the emblem, particularly under a thick layer of dust. Sure, but it could have been painted yesterday. The Witch King. She recalls the historical novel The Glute. When the Witch King first ascended to the throne, he gave his builders a blueprint of Genesis Spire, a monument so great the likes of which Lithanian had never seen. Simply gazing upon the plans was enough to make one short of a breath, as though standing before its foundation. Witch King was scrupulous about every last detail of the Genesis Spire, down to the materials and paints used for every fence and railing, which must never fade in color. It would become the sole symbol of Lithania. As the Genesis horn fully descended, that woman just now, Yana comes to a startling realization. Yep, you know who that is. The company who had just passed by was like one of the people living in the outskirts of Zwillingstürme, the prime of her life, busy and tireless, her voice emanating a warm, fresh cup of tea. She should not be here, neither at the Empress's Spire nor in the Genesis horn. Yana turns around, no one is there. She revealed, "Why are you here? Why did you come back to Lithania? Did you leave?" Couldn't say goodbye to your father, you couldn't return to the Spire of your childhood. How are you memorized along with the rain and whatnots? You watched Cora die in your arms, you couldn't take her away from this dusk-scorched city. Can you stop? What can you change? What can you possibly accomplish? If the Witch King isn't dead, if he sits at the end of the endless spiral, would you beg him for enlightenment, just like those fanatics? Sound a bit absurd. Psychos just stretches on and on until Rihanna sees a door, and it's conspicuous corner. It's conspicuous. Tiny familiar door. Attempting to turn left at each intersection to ensure progress through nearest deviation. Unsuccessful. Attempting to descend. Did you jump? Failed to reach bottom of staircase after 45 minutes. Attempt unsuccessful. Rodriguez spent a long time in the stairs of the Empress Spire. He stops in his tracks after yet another failed attempt. At the most basic level, arts are a rigid form of order. The two empresses would not have hired a mentally ill architect to design their spires, and no artificer could have recreated such orderless architecture. My judgment was impaired due to my experience at Ludwig's Universitat's Sonata Spire. The distortion occurring within this tower is related to arts. As again, his sworn covered the entire spire, causing changes in reality. Arturia's music is also absent. After a brief pause, Federico pulls out his shotgun and fires in front of him. The sound of the gunshot fills the space, but the projectiles vanish right before his eyes as though wiped away by some formless something. Santa. As he hears the sound, Federico sees the projectile again, now moving with a slow and clear trajectory like rock skipping across the river. Spread and everything beneath the surface is revealed. Put away your gun, please. Put away your gun, please. I do not require you to repeat yourself. Oops. I've heard something similar from everyone I met in this mission. Of course you did. This is Zwillingstürme, not Laterano. Boris always liked to talk about Laterano. He said that when Santa got out, they bang and any buildings they don't like, and bang the buildings they do like even more eagerly. John and I used to think he was making things up. Don't like his own hometown very much. Anyway, look around you. Zwillingstürme is an old city, and brick or tile could have scored a poem etched on it by it's from a century ago. Rodrigo could get assessed at the site. If this place is Genesis Horn where the Witch King's legacy is kept, Arturia's final destination, then it is difficult to believe that his bullets could have broken some sort of barrier and brought him Here from the strange staircase. Federico examines the woman before him. The burn her face is no more and no less than that of a citizen performing her civic duty to stop a tourist. Do you understand me, El Sancta? Put away your gun, please. Excuse me. We are clearly not on the streets of Zwillingstürme, but you seem unaware of this. You have mentioned a Loris and a John, assuming you are referring to Loris Borden and John Sculler. Please tell me your name. Eula. Ah, it is her. Eula Sculler. Sure. This is inside the Genesis Horn, the Witch King's resting place. The Witch King. Stop looking around, little angel. What up? Not surprised. I wish I could say the same. The last thing I expected was for you to actually cling to a lich's fed and be voluntarily exiled. So where is the Witch King? Dead? What else? I should be able to sense him. His art says so much as his will, if I just... Atoria looks around. It is a space without boundaries, defined by only indescribable flows of light like the expiration of the ward. She studies her cello, puts her hand on the strings, and sets her bow. Silence. Bow touches string, but the vibration produces no sound. The motion familiar to her, so natural, has lost all of meaning. Finally notice, I can't play it. I've lost my music. Is it because of the Genesis Horn or the rules of the Witch King? Arrogant, foolish, witless. That pretty halo over your head is shedding light on your pale face. I wish it could do the same to your brain. Where do you think you are right now? Inside Sargon Short's coffin? A treasure trove of the Pashas of Sargon? A witch's magic pocket from Victorian fairy tale. Fremont. Okay, at the beginning and end of all threads. As though muttering to himself, Fremont speaks an unfamiliar word with sarcasm. Or maybe the name he gave it would be more in line with your understanding. That's led to me. Kargerik. What you're seeing is the other side of the real, a dimension always in flux. Any rule, any reality disintegrates before it in an instant. Through the long eons, the Liches have caught only glimpse of it, and despite Hargenshaw's life's work, the best he could manage was to create a tiny, volatile bubble in this infinite void. Aturia does not respond from Vermont's anger. He simply touches the string again, a broken hush. There is no disappointment or fear, only confusion. An emotion that only flashes across Arturia's face before she looks up and smiles. Perfect. So the Witch King didn't prolong his will through mystical arts, but instead created his own Kargarich. This pocket still exists, so he must be here. It's just that there's still ways to go to reach his throne. Aren't you curious what happens if we're exiled again in Kargarich? Arturia realized that the shadows are growing. The Lich's witchcraft had been moving while she was speaking. Thread-like shadows grow into thick vines around Vermont, merging into the ambiguous colors of the ground and begin to come at her. Death and extinction decay in its full bloom. Still haven't found my answer. I have to rediscover my music. I must perform the Witch King. Can't die. She's perfectly willing to meet her end performing, but what she can't accept is to fade into silence with truth so near. Shadows crack and the grey rains rushes up to engulf all. Go to the Genesis Spire, the performance begins. New music, new arts protecting Tunin against catastrophe and the cannons of Gaul. Erkenschorn. Reality is unstable here. Was it caused by the exile? It was like this before we entered Kirkland's horn's power is diminishing. The Genesis horn's collapse is accelerating. Still alive? The melody is gone. She clung to the one strings of sound distinct from environment and escaped the threats of exile. Now the melody has become tangible, emerging from the void, ascending before her. It has taken a human form. Ah, an untouchable sound. Was it your melody that saved my life? Are you a spirecaster of the Witch King? Witch King? How could you think that? I'm sorry. Careful, keep your voice down. Someone after you. Sure, stay put and hide here. Don't worry, I know this place well. No one will find it. Okay. Just stand there, come inside. Let me show you around my room. So smiled. What do you think? Decorated it yourself? He and I helped me. It's so precious and bright. Anna, your room is lovely. Thank you. This room gets more sunlight than any other in this entire spire. As shy and lazy as Stromland's sun is, it never feels too dark in here. Even in the cloudiest days. Just the exact opposite. And then there's the veranda. It runs along the entire wall of the room. With that view, or you can see there. At what? The green roof over there. It's a Glenlessee Botanical Garden. What tea? Took there for a few times. There's so many plants we don't see in Stromland. Later Latonian, but I love its roofs the most. Some Bolivarian claw vines work their way up there. It's probably too tall to easily get up onto the roof, so the staff just let them grow and now cover the entire thing. In springtime, clusters of pink flowers bloom from vines. The earth looks like a pink cloud, and in summertime it's a deep leaves of those vines never drop by autumn. The roof will turn gold and winter only a perfect sheet of white still. Ja, I can picture it now. Beautiful. No matter how busy Vati was with his government work, he would always take time out of his day to come visit. And he would paint the scenery while he quietly told me his stories. Vivian? Yes. He shared those stories with me of Mati and Vati. That day in Marigold Alley, when he waited for her. Vati said he was determined to say goodbye to her, but once he saw her, he couldn't bring himself to turn and go. Vivian, two hands are destined to join. Why let the lands come between them? Ugh, so cheesy. Anyway, Vati brought Mati back to Streamland. He stood right there beneath the spire, telling the worthies and bigwigs that if they didn't show Muti the proper respect, never return to Hochberg Spire again. Nor would he succeed. Ah, this is her wish. And did the nobles accede? They did. All because Vati stood below the spire for 3 whole days. When a man came to either change his mind or just shout at him, none succeeded. He had no choice but to give in. Ferdinand von Hochberg protected his love like a hero from a storybook. They were married with the blessing of everyone around them. Vivian von Hochberg, your birth too won't be. Oh, too won the blessing of all. The bar, wonderful. Oh, what was that? Viviana? This is a wonderful life. Bentley and I, doors open. The maid walks in. Vivian looks to hide, but goes straight for the little girl, as if she doesn't see Vivian at all. You know, you're here for the carpet. Hey, Fräulein Droste, please step aside. It's a masterpiece by a Minoan craftsman, very comfortable under my feet. The image of the lake and white walls on it is so vivid, I can almost feel the at it. Though this carpet shall work long and hard, scribbling so many poems for others, just to be able to see it. She left Zwillingstürme. She didn't bring much luggage with her, but she did bring this carpet. Sell for a bit of money. You have to understand the day. Despite otherwise empty, your room is the last decent thing in the place. If she could help it, the dame wouldn't touch a thing in it. But since Swarner's death, she has been troubled by all sorts of people. She sold everything that could be sold. You're due to go study in Colombia, which takes no small amount of coin. She hopes you won't have to live in poverty abroad. Well, because I could always not go. That won't do, Fräulein. You have to leave Stroman to leave Lithuania. Dame said as much as the could for us 2 years ago, but it was only recently he gave the nod. You ought to set out soon, lest he changed his mind. What about Mutti? Can she come with me? Dame is at the Kurfürst's beck and call. She must remain in the spire. I should speak to Uncle Shield, Uncle. Then, he may be your paternal uncle, but he is now Kurfürst of Sturmland. Just 2 years after the late Kurfürst Werner took the seat, he was assassinated while touring the domain. His marriage to the Dame offended a lot of people, and some have speculated it was Shield himself. Ugh, what am I thinking? Why would I even tell you this? Yet I have a person, and I'm not sure who to ask. Question. Go ahead. What had Vat he had lived an ordinary life, a commoner's life, would we have been happy? Caroline, you've always been the sort of girl who sees things as they are. You know what's going on. Pack your things, put your beloved books and art collections into the rattan box. Box there, I'll take care of the carpet and come back to put it in order. The Lafayette girl looks out at the city below the veranda. The wind is her only. They said the roof, the Glenlossie Botanical Garden is beautiful, but what's there to appreciate when the night shines all? Rogiella? It seems I really can't hear the voices anymore. Obvious wound on you. Could your hearing be impaired? No, it's just much quieter than I'm used to. And as you're standing right now in front of me, I still feel so distant from you. Oh, is this a little better? You should speak louder. No, that's not it. Let me take you somewhere nearby to rest. The ones chasing you should be far away by now. Come, I'll help you carry the cello. Why are you gripping it so tightly? Your fingers are turning white. Very important to you. It is my eyes, my ears, my voice, and my heart. I'm ashamed to admit it, but there was a time when I was even afraid of it. Oh, it took me some time to learn how to get it. Lord, why are you sitting in the dark corner with the lights out? Little Luciana doesn't know you've come back. Why did you skip cello practice after growing in the park? Growing in the park? I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I seem to have kicked your cello. The instrument is expensive. If I have damaged it, I have the money to compensate. Bad. Take it away from me, will you? Hide it anywhere you like. The study, the attic, and storage. Throw it away. Fine. Played on their PC hadn't mastered yet. I don't know. As soon as I drop my bow across its strings, I hear voices. So many voices. Real voices trapped in the bodies of men and women. They want to come out. I should help them. But they're too loud, too chaotic. So many crying voices, laughing voices, whispering voices, voices furiously complaining. They all surge together. They're so loud, Fred. I can hardly breathe. You know, should I get them Italian to Luciana? I just need quiet. The room is quiet except for the isolated sobbing in the two black halos look at each other, their cold and faint light being words they share. Just be quiet for a while just so my head doesn't hurt so much, just for a bit. I'll get used to the voices. I just haven't mastered the skill yet. It didn't take me long to learn to row a boat today. All I had to do was row it thick fog to the island in the center of the lake. The song comes from the faraway shore. Are you singing? It's a folk song popular with the buskers on the streets. It's got a nice sound to it, but I'm a little tone deaf, so when John would come home after being bullied, I'd comfort him with the song. You mentioned the street just now. Ah, ja. Called Schmidt Street. The people of Zwillingstürme also call it Marigold Alley. Oh. Senor Schooler, you haven't answered my question. According to the record, Zwillingstürme Gendarmerie, Herr Fien engaged in combat with a suspect to stop kidnapping on Carl Schmidt Street in the autumn of 1085. The Baron was injured and unconscious for a period. When he awoke, both the suspect and the abducted Caprine woman, 27-year-old Julia Schooler, was missing. Doris Borden took over the case and conducted a series of investigations, finding no promising leads. He found the Baron's testimony suspicious, with the only certainty being that Baron was the last person to see you. He strongly excuse me. He strongly believed that a secret lady hidden within something like the Witch King's still later experiments on infected civilians. She became the target of the Baron. She's infected. Under pressure from above, the Gendarmerie halted any subsequent investigation and closed the case an accidental disappearance. Doris Borden took the case file to his residence, and over the course of 15 years, it has grown increasingly thick. Never gave up on investigating the truth and never gave up on looking for you, despite several clues indicating that Julius Kular was already deceased. You've just informed me that this here is a Carl Schmidt Street. In other words, she came to the Genesis Horn posthumously and currently exists as a form of consciousness. In your cognition, you have never left the scene of the incident. So please tell me what exactly happened to the course of that incident. He is the best at explaining things. Jesus Christ, I like FedEx. This is indeed Marigold Alley. We're standing in front of the piano studio at the intersection. Our executor, we've wasted so much time. I really have to place these arts devices in their proper places quickly. Those masked men will be coming soon. Do you mean to say that the Witch King's remains appear at various locations in Karagirix, according to some noble set of rules? Oh, are they the Witch King's remains? No, they are not the ones in reality, sowing chaos in the name of the Witch King. What you see are but manifestations of the Witch King's craft, the actors of Harkishar, or incursions. Anjan Folgen. Follow the sounds? That's the way to see the Witch King. Why would the Witch King be in Zwillingstrom? Although I suppose it makes sense, I'm already dead. And the Witch King is too, so we're in the same place, that's illogical enough. This one is that you are aware. The other one is dodging it. It would also explain all these strange happenings. Perhaps having lost the sound of music, I can no longer perceive what you see in your eyes. What do you call this place, Zwillingstürme? Are you blind too? Frogiello, do you see the music instrumentation term? What? The what? Arteria looks in the direction of a complaining woman pointing and sees nothing but a vague light and shadow. Hello. Rich music school as towers. Oh god. The music instrumentum but only 11. Yes, that word is the most famous landmark in Baxhof, which is part of the Royal Academy is inspired by music instruments and was named for it upon the completion. There are 11 instruments, and when Herbach presided over his yes, Gloricus Capital project, Grand Urban Plan, he added 11 more. 22 instrument spires corresponding to the 22 districts of Zwillingstürme, like a perfect symbol of orchestra, symphony of orchestra. Huh, new stuff. Yeah, but there are only 11 music instrumentum here. There's the next music school of Zwillingstürme, but that Witch King's time. Behind us is a tilted spire, circular, the color jade. Jade? That's not jade. The Schiffer term that the leaning tower of eternity. It was originally inspired from the other. It began to lean due to changes in the strata with the support of the magnificent arch of the Sparkcasters. It maintained its baffling tilt without collapsing. Its miracle of Lathan architecture were destroyed in a catastrophe 4 centuries ago. Not only that, I see der Werner Ortsum as auf den Kopf. Okay. Now that's part of different eras. Form and functions I've only read about them in books or heard of them in stories from my elders. But here they all stand. This isn't Zwillingstrom, but it's not Ladinium either. I think the most proper name would be Lithania. Hmm. The only part that feels familiar is the marigold alley beneath my feet. At the intersection sits a piano studio. At the end of the street is an art gallery, and right in the middle is my cafe. So you own. I'm glad they're still here. I already discovered them. Here I can still live just the way I used to. So unfamiliar as this place is, I would still rather call it Zwillingstrom. Maybe you haven't rediscovered your old life. Rather, it's because of your life that you came here to be. Oh, there are only 9 chances left. When did the Clavier term and Wooden term vanish? Fremont was right. Genesis Horn accelerating its collapse. Forgiello, do you see it now? Wow, this is something. Oh, I'm going out. Would you like to come with? Alright. Give me a moment. What is it? Rise Y9s. A seaman, good in a bit. The window facing the street opens in response, and a woman with a furrowed brow holds a paintbrush. Gazing into the distance, the young girl waves to her, smiling as bright as the marigolds flying in the alley. The seaman takes a break and opens her window. Over there Right at this time, she spends all morning, then looks into the distance, listens to music, relaxes, and looks for inspiration. That's odd. Looks like she's in a bad mood today. Close the window without waving back. Maybe she's having trouble with her heart. I should go see her with Mutti tonight. You know the neighborhood well, Vivian. In Carl Schmidt Street? Of course I do. I've been here all 10 years of my life. Did your parents always live here? They were away for a brief stints a few times, and I'm not sure why, but they always came back. When compared to the rest of Zwillingstürme, Carl Schmidt isn't anything special. We've got a few flower shops, or a paint store, and some stout buildings. And even have a spa. People here are ordinary, plus a few struggling artists and nobles, but my parents really like it here. Have they ever had any trouble? Batsy mentioned some trouble before, but he's been prepared for anything since he decided to stay. Did Wonder von Hochberg find a new way to become a common? That is not so common. He may only teach literature at the commoner school in Wayne. The big kids there respect him a lot. I see. Probably you'll use all his connections in Sumland and Zwillingstrom spent all his savings, maybe even change his appearance. It's no small thing to give up on everything. By the way, Vivian, is that cake you're holding? Yeah, the lady next door taught me. The marigold stamen has a bitterness to it. But when ground into a powder and pinched into a cake, it triggers helps balance the sweetness. But he found a job in Backshaw, earning a bit more than before. She's working as an editor for her favorite poetry journal. Gets home very late though. So I said I'd bring her lunch for a whole month. That's exhausting. You smell that? When the breeze picks up the fragrance of the coffee shop up ahead wafts all night. I hope it as much as I can, so Mati and Vati won't be so tired, at least enough that they can take me to pro Seaman's gatherings on weekends. I hold my hand as we walk down the long alley to her house. There's so many interesting people there, they play the piano so well and speak so eloquently. I like it here, I don't think it's exhausting. I'm glad of that. Yana, this is a wonderful life too. What's this? Wasn't that Lucinda? How could such a well-behaved commoner have offended anyone? Did she write something she shouldn't have? Why did the authorities come so quickly? Is there an explanation? They were gonna speak as they came. What else can we say? Careful what you ask. Probably has something to do with her husband, Warner. I've heard he's actually the heir of Krofos of Stumland, living incognito with his wife and daughter on Schmidt Street for the past decade. I've gotten along with them for the I've gotten along with them so well all these years. Never have guessed. He said it himself so well. Could that be? Rumor has it that Werner didn't show up to class this morning. Who knows if he was taken away by the Hogwarts vessel or the Empress's voice. Odds are it was Frida Seaman who gave him up. The woman's out of her mind. She took her voice down. The cake thuds as it falls to the ground. Biana hears sobbing, the fragile shoulders before her tremble like flowers, battered by the wind. She holds the girl's hand tightly. Always a bad ending, huh? Bian, don't look. Looks like your mother was assassinated here. Hmm. Why are we just torturing Viviana? Signora Julia's cooler. I perceive only vague silhouettes of the remnants. Clearly point out the locations where they may be hidden. A patron firearm may be of use. I will guarantee your safety. Um, that executor, you may have misunderstood. Those men aren't here to do anything to me. When I first saw the masked people, I would keep my distance and hide, but I later found they weren't concerned with me at all. Their appearance in any particular part of Zwillingstürme usually means that there's a new threat, or like a signal. Threat? Not a true threat. I don't know how to explain it at all. It's like a natural disaster, beyond human comprehension. Normally bad weather or a waking nightmare. The atmosphere in Zwillingstürme has taken a turn for the worse, especially recently. Clouds are heavy, sunset looks faded. I'm always hearing loud, thundering noises. Several times I awoke to find a whole chunk of Zwillingstürme completely empty. So many prominent buildings seemingly dug away by something. Only an empty space where they once were, like a whole section of history had been erased. The threats erased the spice of different eras without a trace, gradually consuming all of Zwillingstürme. And sooner or later, the small alley I live in. You jumped out to prevent me from seeing my preacher firearm. You've been protecting this place. Ja, I've never seen you before. I had a powerful premonition this time. Premonition. Such feelings are usually nothing more than psychological indicators without backing in logic. It is difficult to take action upon them. But the Witch King's remains have indeed appeared. But Executor, when you live in a place for 5 or 10 years, when you become a part of it, you develop a senses like a foul beast, and can smell the storm before it comes. I say. You would aid the echoes of Harkenshorn. No, this is my own thing. Even if they didn't appear today, I'd find a way myself. How do you fight against those disasters, the weather or the waking nightmares? With those arch devices recurring. The truth is, I've been going to different places to around this time each day, space, especially those blanks and edges where buildings have vanished. That's dangerous, but I collected enough devices from those places. They seem to be some sort of echo device that collects arts information. Rogelio, if the masked men truly are the echoes of Hercules' shelf, then this echo device must be what the Witch King used to deal with his enemies. Those should come in handy. Are you going to renovate the street yourself? Margot Alley is the only outskirt of Ordenshof, very inconspicuous. No one comes here deliberately except some tourists, painters, and wandering poets. Even if all Bordenshof taken against the 22 districts of Zwillingstrom isn't all that special. And in this Zwillingstrom, with its many storied historical spires, maybe no one would even notice such an ordinary alley. If it's where I was born and raised, no one knows it better than me. You're such a pretty designed NPC, too bad you're dead. And we're never going to see you. I know when it's lively and when it's quiet. In all its sounds, the singing of wandering troubadours, the humming tunes of pedestrians, the busy footsteps on the cobblestones, the sound of rain against the marigolds and awnings. I know where the resonance pipelines buried beneath the street are still functional. Art sculptures on the corners can replace the broken parts. Now to connect them all in the most convenient way, activate them with these echo devices. But you don't know what the modified resonance pipelines will even do. These devices left in those empty areas I suggest that. Oh, but for Giallo, there's something I have to do. I can always do something. Told myself as much when I was very young. I had to take good care of John and myself, and not like our parents. Passed away a long time ago. It was 1077. Persecuted during the Twin Empresses' coup. 9. They were as common could be. They were sick at the time, and the tremendous sound of the Witch King's Genesis spire collapsing in the distance, trampling of the soldiers outside the house, it all aggravated their nerves. They always feared that at any moment the Gendermere would burst and take us away. It's our block. In turbulent times like that, there is nothing so shocking. Died in terror even before our back could launch his codex. Okay. When a terrible clamor drowns out our else, we hear it's within ourselves. We find our fears and worries spoken. Julia, forgive me for not being able to better comfort you. That is all right. I just wanted to say that I can't let myself lose the courage to live as I have been. Maybe we still don't see our surroundings clearly. We've walked all the way from the gallery at the end of the street down to the cafe where I've spent almost a decade. I started working there just to make ends meet. The owner was kind, letting me and John live in the shed behind the court. I set it into a proper home and even set up a little space for John to practice his arts. The boy is gifted. You saw casters using arts to repair sculptures on the street and watched for moments before going home and spending the night turning this room into a sound control space. I'll talk about it with Loris and we'll send him to study arts at Ludwig's Universitat. What is your relationship with us, actually? Loris doesn't make it clear in Zwillingstürme, and when he does, he'll give John a recommendation. Later, when this cafe was about to go down, I used all my money to buy it for myself. I became the owner, the waitress, and even worked on making my own special blend of coffee for its grand reopening. Dangerous and unpredictable, but life is tangible. You only want to protect it. From the piano studio on the corner to here, there are total resonance pipelines and technical devices up in their faces on them. I told you they'd useful. That is logical. Back tune all of Zwillingstürme resonance pipelines during the Gorgeous Capital project. In order to adjust the arts arrays laid throughout the city during King. Just a few steps from away from my cafe now. Reconstruction project for this half is almost done. I see. He's leading him to. She's leading him to. Paturiach. Are they showing up again? Yeah, right on the corner from the cafe. I guess I'll need to work faster. Just realized something. What is it? This feels familiar. Similar to a certain day, exactly the same even. It was the day I first opened the cafe. I stood by the door waiting for Loris and John. They were a little late. I knew the two of them wanted to do special for the grand opening. They were a little too obvious about it. Loris went to order flowers in another part of the city and specifically asked me to wait for the most conspicuous part of the block. Didn't even realize he'd left the order on the table when he came by to help the. Meanwhile, Jen had snuck up into Phil Seaman's house a few times a week. Nearly all the kids and Marigold asked her to bring souvenirs still alive at Point or I had them go anyway. At the beginning of a new life, I promised Loris as much too. The wind was strong that morning, enough to make you feel. There weren't many people out on the street. I think I noticed two standing in the corner opposite to the cafe. They had black masks with sit buttons on. Noticed me too. They walked over. The Witch King's remains. That explains why you perceive the patterns in the Genesis horn as manifesting a concrete form. This was your only connection to the Witch King during your lifetime. A lot of speculations differed wildly from the truth. You just happened to be at the scene while the Witch King's remains were taking action. Yeah, just getting unlucky. The city council had no intent to protect a nobleman as one involved in taking action against their remains. One can imagine Fray Harafian's ultimate fate. But early in the reign of the Twin Empresses, Zwillingstürme needed to disassociate the entire case from the Witch King. This remains. Halted the investigation, concealed the truth of the matter, and hastily closed the case. Sufficient. I'll pop up. Approach. What do you mean? Julius Schooler. Your death was entirely coincidental. I have uncovered the truth of the case. If recalling these details is a burden to you, please refrain from doing so. 9. Executor. I only worry that this street may disappear from Zwillingstürme at some point, just like the long-gone spires, and that I'll never have the chance to keep my promise to Loris. Logically speaking, you have already. Or Executor, have you ever made any unfulfilled promise? Since accepting commissions with the notarial hall, there have been 2 instances where the descendants' will was too ambiguous to be forcible, and 2 instances where the target was inadvertently destroyed in an explosion. No other circumstances. Oh, I don't mean at work. Promise. Ed, what are you doing? Following? In the dark? That is not difficult. I am busying myself. You said you needed quiet. That yes. Drawing. Laterano. Why would you draw? Why would you want to draw Laterano by night? Soror, the nasal tone of your voice has grown lighter. You've stopped crying. You said you would gradually master your playing. I believe in you. Everyone says you have a talent for music. In general, talent should not bring pain. I will master it, Fed. Have to. You're going to finish your drawing? You seem to be having trouble. No, I've completed the overall outline. Now I need to refine the details, but when night falls in Laterano, where's the first place light up? How about you wait? Master my method and play my first piece. It won't take long, then I can take you to the highest point of Laterano to see for yourself. That would answer your question, wouldn't it? Right? To me, I promised so. And I made that contract, the obstacles she faced, as well as the painful meaning behind overcoming those obstacles. An undefined chaos, she herself was the first victim. Therefore, understanding the full extent of her changes and preventing her from continuing to spread chaos is the responsibility I must fill. But Executor, is that why you've come to Zwillingstürme too? Is the person you're talking about also a Santa? Arturia, female, 168 centimeters tall, straight black hair, a mole below her left eye, carries a custom-made cello. She arrived before I did. Seen her? Rodiello, you may not want to follow me any further. You just said that from the guy at the end of the street to here with your cafe just ahead. All the residence pipelines here will be restored. What is it keeping from? I believe he's the one who hurt you. He's a Sancta as well as. I believe he's the one who hurt you. He's a Sancta as well, yes, but he seems difficult to talk to. Federico, so he's here too. I appreciate your concern, but it was my little brother who hurt. But if it's my little brother who hurt, I've found a few more bullet holes. So your siblings. It's hard to imagine. Just your cousin. I thought they were brothers and sisters too, but in the manga I thought they were cousins. Federico. Oh wait, no. One of them were adopted. I need to double check the manga. Federico will definitely catch up to me. The discovery of gaps along the path once been following inevitably causes confusion. But for him, that confusion isn't a ripple, it's a crack in the ice. The rest of us can stop until we find the answers. Alright. That is the last bit. The piano studio on the corner, the gallery at the end of the street, the beginning and the end. All the resonant patterns converge here. Julia, I know what you want to say. This might not have any effect at all. And if so, I'll think of another way. I can't let myself just hide away in my home, waiting for the storm to pass. The echo devices are all in place. Now it's time to activate the resonance pipelines. Without direction, without daylight, everything is covered in shadow. The Genesis horn seems to be forever shrouded in mist. Whether Tuya perceives the illumination of the pipelines like a flame in the dark. Rolling out from the two of them, from near to far, the surrounding scenery gradually becomes clear. She sees everything as clearly as in Julia's eyes. A street lined with marigold, countless peculiar spires. The place is not chaotic, it is one that exists beyond time and space, a grand construct. At the same time, music flows into her ears. It is the music of all marigold, and also a part of grander movement, a composition that belongs to Harkenshorn. Julia, my cello is silent, but I've heard your innermost thoughts. They are touching. Allow me to express my gratitude. Return your best to the Caprine before her. But the most common soul and the most powerful are both written on the same sheet of music. The Airy Wing sculpture prostrate on both sides of Arteria supporting towering stone pillars that angels defy mechanical explanation. No, the pillars are suspended in midair. Where is this Airy Wing sculpture? A palace, solemn and majestic. It's a king. At the end of the steps, a man stands motionless with his throne. Red curtains sway and cast layers of light on him, veiling the monarch's countenance. But the infamous twisted horns belie his name. Hello, Witch King. I've seen you in so many fragments of history and legend. I've crossed paths with you in the memories of so many, including the Liches. But it wasn't until I saw Julius still alive that I caught the faint sense that this journey could really lead to a meeting with man himself. Allow me to introduce myself, Arturia Giala. Salutations, Otto de Admiral Gustav von Urtica. Arknights, Your Majesty, the Witch King. Giallo, Rodroster. I'm also uncertain when he got separated from the others. Rumblings are just fall vertically from above, and the stairs beneath his feet spiral endlessly. He can only move forward, he is alone, indefatigable. Nor despicable, Ebonhouse. You've interfered in our judgment, wasted our time, and hindered our cause. You're practically the worst sinner there is. Forgive me if I don't look as sorry as I feel. So will you join us for an audience with His Majesty now, or would you seek to prevent his return to the mundane world? You didn't have what it takes, you could not do it. You should have been clear long ago, we should have known. It's obvious His Majesty's blood is so strong, his soul is so tenacious. The voice of Mundane was but a byproduct of his music, and yet it alone had brought you to your knees with the pain of licks. You were born weak, far too weak to live up to any expectations. That is to say, you're the ones forcing those wretched noises into my mind. In the end, is it me who bears responsibility for all of this? You should be thankful, Ebenholz. Should they know from the beginning that the voice of Mundane was not the key to His Majesty's inheritance, would the twins have granted you the title of Graf Ortica? Or even before then, you'd have died in the cradle. You should take pride in your title, but more than that, you should be ashamed of it. Sure, I shall decide, and so be gone. You are hateful, Ebenholz. How many died under the Witch King's tyranny? How many disappeared without a trace? Leithanian is scarred, and 23 years later, turns still bleeding. For damn, only for the tyrant to die suddenly one for knowing any proper justice. And you, his last remaining descendant, you were born with the mark of sin in your blood. You should atone for him, atone for all he did to Leithania. What right do you have to go live a comfortable life, Ebenholz, all while mocking yourself as an obnoxious nobody? I despise this sin-tasted blood, each and every day the same as you do. No, you have no idea the U.S. wrath. Those remnants still steal into Ortica again and again, encircling your spire like flies to rotting meat. My youngest son had only just joined the security forces when he found their trail. His corpse bobbed in a ravine for 3 days before they found it. All while you hid away in your spire. Do you even know the site of the Ortica's domain? What crop it produces, how often the tax collector comes from the capital? What disaster the land has suffered in recent years? There is no land share more. Illustrious Highness. Stop, go no further. The braver you are, the more ridiculous you look. You are pitiful, Ebenholz. Do you even remember Gertrude? Before she died, she left some real nasty curses. She cursed Weissenheim, Leithania, the Witch King, and she cursed you. Her curse was, word for word, may the madness of Ebenholz's bloodline haunt him forever. When you came back to Zwillingstürme, I thought to myself, damn, that mad woman curse really came to pass. That stubborn kid couldn't escape the vortex of fate. Of course he would never give in to fate, but this time he'd have to fall into the madness to break free. You should feel relieved, shouldn't you? The voice of the mundane has troubled you for over a decade, but you've been resisting it, you've been carefully guarding it. Regarding your bomb, afraid that it would blow up at any moment. Afraid the wrong people could use it to hurt the innocent. Those heavy burden and actions are afraid. But in the end, it was just a noise. A totally non-lethal headache. Go home, Ebenholz. Gertrude's curse has already been fixed. And you can't bear it. Because it's an even more debilitating curse. In the end, your struggle isn't even worth mentioning. Resistance is meaningless. Those who sacrifice themselves for this, those tears and smiles you've carried in your... How will you face them? You've come to realize that the trust, pity, understanding, mutual reliance, all those incredibly beautiful emotions, they're not precious because they are rare. But it gets suddenly turned so light, so weightless. Joke. Joke. Looks to the spire. I knew you'd be here. You'd been dead for so long, but you still fantasize about letting this wicked spire descend upon Lithania again. You won't succeed. I'll use all my arts, wave my wand until it breaks, and manipulate my Virginium dice until it shatter. If you still have flesh, I will destroy it. If you still have a soul, I will annihilate it. I will interrogate you, Christian, and I will kill you. King. Franz. Do not touch the notes in the air. The witchcraft I have integrated into the melody here, which I have deleted, still contains a terrible power that will last until it completely dissipates. Calm your emotions, evade the will of the ancients from a millennium. Your mind distracted. Ebenholz tightens his grip on his wand, but cannot say a word. He has read all about the Witch King. Not so long ago, he was even imprisoned in this room. As his sister. Minos flows slowly about the space. The melody known as Siracusa is leaving the movement that is Leithania. He hears the sounds like a booming of loud thunder, pouring rain, and surging wind. The will of Leithania has turned into a power that matches heaven and earth, washing repeatedly over the swamp. Even standing at the door, the surging earth is firmly against his heartbeat. Speaking of the ancients, let me check a certain site. %. It's still just 1%. Wait, it has music now? The man doesn't have the room does not turn to look at him. He's focused and proud. He is a rift that stands above the turbulent waves. Ebenholz cannot help but suspect that he has come to the wrong place. This looks more like the fateful night to a certain composer or a most passionate lecture by a historian. There is no hatred here, no destiny, nowhere to place his anger. Ebenholz suddenly realized one thing: he's never truly seen the Witch King in all his life. Not even in his most terrifying moments. Vermont, you're late again. I don't recall you being such a popular teacher. Did you find yourself waylaid by a crowd of students? Impressive teacher's empowerment makes you hesitate in the face of knowledge. That means nothing more than that these youth claiming to be Lithania's finest are in fact fit only to send the ivy that climbs your spires. What? Are you making excuses because you're such a potty-mouthed teacher? Secondly, it is Ludwig's Universitat, not you, that grants me my scholarly stipend each month. I am not at your beck and call. Or should I not talk back to His Majesty, the great Hercules like this? This isn't the first time you will, or will it be the last? Next month, Godfred's son from across the land will begin to arrive in Dunin. Time is running out for a month. I hope that when their audiences conclude, they each take copies of the amended Golden Gesats back to their respective creeks. No far and wide is an exceptional monarch, even called a once-in-a-millennium ruler by these sheep and deer. Are you really so eager to set your own prestige in stone? What's nice for bringing the confidence and armies and civic powers under the direct control of the Imperial Spire? We've already discussed this. When I first arrived in Lithuania, the Kaiser at the time was already troubled by the Kusen question, how long has it been? Now the wolf pups dare not make but slightly bigger moves. Only just ascended, why not take some time to choose your robes for the upcoming ceremony? You've already chosen. Are you still worried about the amending of the Golden Gesats and the accompanying policies could plunge the realm into unforeseen turmoil? Look at what happens to Lithuania. By moving my lever would be a tremendous pain. You've been studying the movement ever since you became Kurfürst of Einwald. We both know precisely what it is, and why no one dared consider amending it for 1,000 years. The three main sections that unfold melody woven into one, a truly superior piece of witchcraft created by the arts masters of a prior millet. Are you telling me you don't know who made it? That is a supreme will of Lithuania and infused with the power of countless stations of integration, contemplation, and production of this land. It's as close as we could possibly come. Eternity. Eternity? Setting aside the Minoan philosophers musing on the questions of whether or not a man can step into the same river twice, I think only the liches are particularly fond of using that word. And only you people truly understand its meaning, yep. Eternity, the immutable, the immovable, but eternity does not mean immortality. Indeed, the sages of crafted the movement thousands of years ago commissioned an impossible feat. That is when this land came to be known as Lithuania. But it's more than just the name of a country. The idea of Lithuania is what allows the people here to both prosper and suffer together, engraving elegance, harmony, morality, and beauty into every breath that take. They of a millennia ago crafted a superior vision for this country, making Lithuania into a truth of the land. But all truths eventually decay, and all our current friction with Syracuse is the greatest proof. I will bring about the future of Lithuania. The new Lithuania ruler produces and looks at the lich. Eternity, immortality. The short voice is not heavy, but for a month hears the hefty words shatter and resemble between his lips and teeth. How arrogant of you, how very Ergenschwan. But how can you ensure that Lithuania under your rule won't create a crisis? That the future you're bringing will be truly immortal? There is no composition that can't be written, no art that can't be surpassed, no will that can't be overcome, no unknown that can't be conquered. Immortality lies in renewal. To this day, both the ocean and the sky remain shrouded in the fog of cognition. I thought you were gonna reference something else. In this continent, the limit of what Terrans can know and perceive. But the knowledge we've shared tells us that even the loftiest clouds and deepest sea trenches are nothing but reality imprisoned by time and space. And beyond this reality, there exists another side of the world, a realm of emptiness, elusive and leafless. If the questions are endless, then so too must be the answers. The Graf Spire in Ortigas is too small, so I built the Genesis Spire in Dinian. It's also already the tallest in Lithuania, but not necessarily across all the lands. I will never stop. That is the difference between myself and the sage's past. That is immortality, Framont. I hope that when you build a new spire, you'll make a few extra rooms so you won't have to use my own secret chamber just to modify a piece of music. Oh well. Now then, let us begin. Go activate all the resistance capture devices. It will be all clearer once we dismantle the modulator. The king sits firmly on the chair in the center of the room, unfolding the movement. Ramon nudges aside the precious ancient tomes to make the witch, witchcraft matrices. By the way, Vermont, what is it you call the other side of the world? Sarkas, the beginning and the end of all threads. Its name. Their phylactery grants liches and almost unique abilities among the races. Concealing that phylactery means a life that will not end. With infinite time, liches are allowed to glimpse into the infinite truths of the world. But do you treat them as merely pages in a tome of knowledge? Caution is in our nature. The more we discover, the fewer spaces we can live. Right, then, Fremont, what about you? Me? Beginning and the end of all threads. You often complain that the liches under your command are either too young or too hidebound. But have you ever considered entering that space rather than treating it as simply a drawer in which to hide your phylactery? Terrible chill slips over Fremont. A faint but dazzling white bloom stopped the control scepter. It's already begun to play the golden gazette. Fremont's hands have not stopped either. Lich and Caprine, king of the royal court and Kaiser of Lithuania. They have always moved in tacit agreement. King of the royal court. Are you one of the kings or are you the king at this time? Oh no, you're just one of the kings. No one uses this. Everyone calls it the king of the sarcasm. Even in the tensest moments. Sir, discussion on various topics, philosophy, music, and sometimes even the climate and cuisine. Size. Backwards. Because of the raise the matter so naturally that its true secret threatening the mortality of the liches. If he used his exile to its fullest extent, lifetimes could dissolve all of this notes in an instant, annihilating the defenseless man before him. No one else knew the Lithuanian Kaiser had come here, would have enough time to tell the Lich court to flee the country. But Hedeshorn had raised it so naturally, casually bringing up the secret that had remained hidden all those years ago. After a long one, someone burst into a hearty laugh. Wonderful as it happens, I've also encountered some bottlenecks in my study of that space. If you're really interested, I can Shorn. Good luck in my phylactery. It's enough, I can Shorn. And the nostalgia nausea is enough to make me want to vomit last night's leftovers. Besides, I'm running out of time. Been a while for a month. I'm sure you remember what you borrowed. The time has come to return it. I see. I need to read that again. And study your breathing. You're going to crush your aluminum dust into powder. Their former owner, Bellefield, their great casser of Virgin here who lived a century ago. She used the dice to control the wind and lightning in the central valleys of Gaul, masterfully sinking the indomitable flagship of Corsica, one and ruining the enemy's armies in a single stroke. Out of the four emperors. Indeed, it was a delightful victory. The Gaulish men couldn't even manage to cobble together a complete banner. The sensations of their fleeing and cheers of the victorious soldier sounded like a grand duet. Fortunately, we lost Bielefeld in the subsequent attack on Lingens. I saved those sizes as tribute to him in his honor. If the will of a caster wavers like the grass in winter, how could he ever hope to control the wind and lightning? It was a feeling not like he had discovered a child who'd stolen an old item from his home, stopped him and explained the item's provenance after the necessary scolding. How long have you been gone, friends? The weekend in golden muddy 600 exit from the secret chamber with the Witch King standing outside the door. Before them lies a steep, dark red staircase. Grasparnurtica. A series of changes have taken place since the Weissenheim incident, and he had gone for over a year, but he could never forget the place. Do you dislike the stairs? These carpets, blood red, dark patterns beneath pristine handrails. Messengers who come from the capital once in a while exchange glances, the servants setting in. Sorry, it's hard to like them. But no storage, I would wake up in the middle of the night and take the stairs to wake up my tutor. Which means the stairs, the sun spreads far down the long corridor as the lamp along the wall side up one by one, illuminating the path beneath the spire's owner. Between the lamps flowed interconnected intricacies of witchcraft. The tutor sent by the Empresses was intended to perform poorly, so many night everyone would sneak into a cellar in order to practice. I unconsciously followed the Witch King for a moment. He seems to think that the man was still living in the spire, only waking up in the middle of the night to head to the door for whatever unknown. Short-horned Lafayette opened the door. Go in. I stood in the doorway and asked him. Over the course of 3 months, I reviewed the 634 scores collected throughout this ancient spire, all composed by famous musicians and grandcasters. I took the melodies apart, including those who played or unplayable. Why is it that the art of which Leithanian is so proud, accumulating the beauty of elegance and harmony of 1,000 years, flows with dead melodies and crusty notes? I turned the sculpture by the next door into a sandbox, quickly deducting the situation for the next century. Iberia would form an alliance with the sea. Victoria's steel knights would spew steam knights. Boots coated with mud and blood would jump into foreign lands. The Gaulish irises would bloom into deep currents to the deep forests of Eidwald. Just gonna take a screenshot of these lines. But what of Leithania, the country's horns and fangs have rotted nearly right out? I just realized what this is. Okay. But what of Leitania, the country's horns and fangs have rotted nearly right out of our heads. First with Siracusa, then with Stormland, moss and vermin infest every cranny of the spires. Why do you turn a blind eye to all of this? 9. Why do you not know of it? The short-horned Elafia was still half asleep, but more detestable sand still sprinkled of his eyes was his long silence, the fear he had tried to hide. He claimed to be the most knowledgeable man in Ortica and even all of Einwald, but he couldn't answer a single question. Then you kicked him out of the spire and his entire house fell into decline. Heard the story. Just for that, you truly are. June, what? How are you? Those hypocritical servants who secretly partook of the wine cellar would never drink a drop of water again. They would feel the pain of their throats cracking inch by inch until their deaths. As for the teacher who tried to mold me into a useless rubbish, he would find himself impaled by archers dozens of or hundreds of times stronger than his during one of these perfunctory demonstrations. The expression of fear could be frozen into a fine sculpture. The foolish ministers who tried to manipulate me with humility would be manipulated themselves, and the obvious contradictions between the twins black and gold exploited. Exploitation without purpose, arbitrary taking lives. In your own words, those heinous acts are completely meaningless. Witch King. The purpose of a stairway is to lead you to a higher place. I despise these stairs as well, but because they are too short, Graf Ortica's spire is so small. Such narrow. Franz, you see this spire as a cage. How will you break for how will you defeat your enemies? Or your enemies? You are despicable, Evanhos. You are hateful, Evanhos. You are pitiful, Evanhos. 9, of course not. And is it the Witch King? Is he the nightmare that's troubled you for a lifetime? Nightmare? The increasingly empty house, the white-haired child holding his trembling hand on his knee, softly singing in a song that begins with the sky is blue and fine. The sound of the cello spreads out like an endless grassland with the sound of the piano turns into a flowing stream. He washes away all weariness along, allowing him to walk a long way, with the dark of the night no longer so heavy. He often dreamed of these things. Dreams are already fleeting, and if he has to miss those beautiful moments, he would rather never sleep. 9. I have never dreamed of you. Mary? Remember. All the Sexcentrums triumph der Goldmond. Lorethrough Zwillingstürme. The theater across the country must perform certain plays each quarter, all with similar themes, with Ortica being the old tyrant's homeland. Such plays were put on twice as often. As Graf Ortica, he was required to attend all. How many times did he sit through the Witch King's powers during a duet of justice? Shortly before leading to a standing ovation. What the fuck? Okay. Confused me a bit. Sessions on the streets. Sessions in the books. I've seen countless Witch Kings. Without exceptions, the mysterious lights under their twisted horns and even always had a strange tremor. These sinister effects added to them. They were quick to anger, cruel, bloodthirsty with grotesque and exaggerated expressions under their faces. Not one of them. A single patrol matched the rest of them. The ambitions of the masses need atonement, their desires need release, their hatred needs relief. And you, France, the larger the shadow that obscures your fate, the more your failure have to stand on. Every one of you is happy to imagine such a witch king, the purpose of that attribution. Imagining, you say? Cruel release the parts of war, all the suffering you inflicted, the countless innocent lives lost, all of it. You call that imagined? We're talking about you, France. You've never made the slightest effort to represent the people you know claim have died. Sudden headache washes over him, much like the nights he was haunted by the voices of mundane. On those nights he could only grip his food desperately. Felt as though he was dying. He would exert all of his strength to curse the man before. Mammals cannot see his own bloodshot eyes, but the layer of red webbing in his field visions become increasingly heavy. Pain stares all memories, steering through all emotions as if trying to draw everything out of his head, transforming into something tangible. I think you were born by the time of the 1920 years ago, and his death was genuine. What meaning is there to calling a dead man your enemy? Terrifying experiment of your childhood, the pain that lingered throughout your life, the cold eyes of mockery of so-called representatives and servants. The criticism and accusations from others, do you still dwell on these things? Fine. You know very well that compared to what I've lost, all those are insignificant, correct? You don't care. You really are upholding the promise you made to him. You're prepared to walk through the long night, bearing it all. But I've been homeless. But why, after all this time, are you still in such pain? Taking a punishment is not the same thing as finding redemption. Why can't you forgive yourself? A man who has always been protected to the very last. Why can't you let go of some sacrifices they made for you? Why do you continue to indulge in self-flagellation and unable to move forward? Because there might yet to be some more precious commitments, and greater sacrifices, even deeper regrets, and even longer suffering ahead. You can't help but doubt, you can't help but fear. So then Ebonhouse, who is your enemy? But if Ebonhouse, if you don't move toward the light, you can never walk out of the night. That night itself is meaningless. That night itself is meaningless. So the good Franz. You have defeated your enemies and broken the spy that was your prison. Pushing waves of sound and the golden melody as it's finally released. Blow swords at the door, like so many harmless fireflies, quietly drifting into the river of history. You pass by Ebonhouse, brushing against its clothes, and hear with a touch ever so gentle. Ebonhouse suddenly feeling a baffling sensation as if the Witch King had patted him on the head. Ebonhouse cannot control himself, he bursts into a laughter. After all my tremendous efforts to storm Genesis form, I ended up winning the praise of His Majesty the Witch King. He laughs at the image of himself as his own embarrassment. He laughs at the past 19 years, realizing he has never laughed this heartily. Even if thunderous rage were to punish him for his lapse, the very next second and the headaches were to him back into the abyss. Or even he were to shatter into pieces, he wants to keep laughing. But nothing happens. The endless staircase is sparked altogether, even the Witch King, it all vanishes, nothing remains but an empty throne. The man all stands before the throne in silence, waiting for the unreal sensation to fade away completely. We've been watching long enough, Santa. In his laughter, I felt a sense of melancholy and elation. The character at the center of the drama finally confronts all that he's been through, whether scripted or in life. If he finds a new goal, there is one steadfast. What about you? You were the first to enter my pavilion even before Fremont. Pavilion, my palace. Thanks to Yulia, I got a glimpse of what it looks like. It reproduces all that Italy has ever taken pride in. Spires that join the millennia, the knowledge art created over generations, undiminished by time. There is nothing else like it. An immense project beyond human capability. Like I speculated on it even before. The soldier, the painter, the scholar, the tuner, I've met each of those who personally witnessed the Todd desk and Koenigs. The night made the deepest impression on their lives. They were entangled by it, trapped in contradictions of their times and themselves. Through them, I reconstructed the last melody, the immortal play. hoarse and cacophonous, impossible to interpret through conventional music theory. This melody could possibly point to a legacy to you, as your followers had expected. It's never meant for the mortal plane. The echoes painstakingly collected by the people of Lithania are the bricks and mortar of this palace, another form of construct material you left behind. They would ultimately be found by others, but who could uncover their purpose. Fame, honor, wealth, an individual house, class. These shallow motifs run throughout all melodies across all lines. The meaning of music has always been so narrow. Sancta, unlike those foolish ministers, come from the so-called holy city and are concerned with Lithania's past and future. Nor are you a lich unaware of the existence of Argerich. You do not walk the path of that Framont does. Why are you here? Before I explain my purpose, I have a question. At this very moment, as we stand here, are you only a strand of a single string trembling in the rigor mortis, a patchwork of flickering light subjectively colored by emotion? One of the countless fragments of consciousness? Or are you the fully intact Witch King? It meant to play you. Physical rules and their preening sound cannot be realized in Kargarich. However, the place you stand does not acknowledge the rules of Kargarich. The soft sound is your own limitation, and has nothing to do with the pavilion. Music is your eyes, your ears, your heart, your everything. You think you've lost all perception, yet desire is stronger. You are dull. You are a dull yet interesting observer. Syria releases her grip into the cello and simply looks at the Witch King. His entire life, all he has been through, his thoughts and emotions collectively resonate through the space, filling every cubic inch. This is the palace he has built for himself. Walked in, see what he sees. Arteria sees what she had read in the witch's memories, the blackness. Infinite blackness, or rather chaos. Human understanding of this word often comes from the negative emotions associated with it. Confusion, disorientation, sadness, anxiety, fear. In reality, it normally refers to a state that is difficult to describe or a concept that cannot be established. This is the only word that can describe the scene before Arturia. Isolation, a land of annihilation. What sits behind the material world, the vector of collapse. No visible boundaries, no discernible direction, sound, light, shape, color. Things that do not belong in the same dimension. Stack and stretch. Rigid life forms and their environmental are symbiotic when neutral bodies. Annihilation is the only ecology here. It surrounds the Witch King's palace, the sunlight, and the surrounding a bubble that could burst with a torch. The Witch King's spire stands in the center of their place of the palace, with originium crystals growing from its base like moss between leaves. But such moss covers the entire palace, connecting seemingly irregular spires and other buildings comprising some vague information. Chaos invades the outmost cluster of spires like a rising layer of mist. Once the mist dissipates, the Warner or term and die Turdes Wisans no longer exist. Clearly, the palace is gradually emptying, but its boundaries remain. as if adhering to a predetermined rules. The customary messages do not resist the storm, lightning, and dust. In years past, they destroyed the Gaulish fleets. Now they will push back this chaos. Celestial phenomena and calamities join the symphony. Osrogenium shapes new connections for you. Your bodies and consciousness will become part of that instrument. Strengths and true formations. Fill in the gap performance. Karkarik is beyond comprehension. Demons cannot be captured. Competence is nothing but cowardice. Turn all intelligence to the spire for analysis. Hmm. Hmm. Confronted, comprehended, conquered in the name of Lithonia. Vibrate the strings of our lives until they break. King Caesar stands proudly on his throne with all the spires at his command, planning of a nation cursed simultaneously with the Persian pole of war, that in Lithonia's history. Amid the unending chaos, the Witch King is the only comprehensible. Your enemy is terrifying, so incomprehensible. Is Lithonia your unwavering cause? Even death cannot end it. Just as Earth predicted, that is suffering an irreversible collapse. Do you regret it? If you hadn't become a tyrant, if Zena's army hadn't seized your spire, if death hadn't ended your study of Kargarich, would you have had the time to make this plane more stable and shaken by chaos? Do you wonder if you weren't the Witch King, if you didn't stand on the shoulder of all Lithonia? Could you master arts and knowledge beyond the reach of mere mortals? Could you surpass reality itself? Could you build your own spire with Kargarich? Your questions are meaningless, Santa. I have no regrets, and I do not know one. I do not fear monsters, nor do I fear becoming one. In your majesty, I come in search of confirmation. Confirmation? It has been a long time since someone spoke to me of such things. I seek from you the greatest answer a human heart can seek. Future. An ideal future. Why are you standing there like a fool? Go too hard, do you have damage? What's your excuse? Oh, what a comeback. A rude little goat you are. I saw him too, did you win? Win? Still win place I could fight that man innumerable times, debate him for innumerable years. But how could I win a debate with an echo? How could I kill a dead man? Then I might as well leave. If you really want to turn and walk away after everything you've suffered on your journey, you will just stand right before the throne. I'm here, I've seen it. The throne is empty. The spire is still here. The strange, desolate, dangerous space still hangs over the heads of countless people. We're the most powerful lich. Tell me, what should I do? How can we, once again, topple the Genesis Spire? There is only one way, the same way it was done 23 years ago. What a beautiful sunset. Is that where are you hiding, Jurgen? Rather not stay with the envoys with the Krofrostan. Speak so crudely of post-war matters right in front of us, as if we're already. Ramon says that the odds of us surviving the battle are less than 1 in 10. Since the day we were born, every test we've taken has surpassed the expectations of those. But the battle with Hackerman is under test. It's the only chance we have. Seize the chance. You have Hackerman's horns, Fishcraft, Gaulish technology, and delicious blessing with us. We are more perfect, more powerful than anyone else alive. But we can still die. They haven't turned us into immortal war machines. They gave us human bodies and feelings, make us like unto them, pushing us toward the end since the beginning. Let's think about something happy, Hilda. We really can kill a good shot. What you would you want to do? You don't need to say it, I already know you want. Time you pick up the sword, it's for the same reason. Oh fuck. Can't stand those arrogant nobles, the ones who don't even treat us like people. What about you? Can guess I'm sure, who knows me better than you? The sun is about to set. Soon all the clouds will fade away, the last shred of golden light. We need to destroy the Genesis horn quickly. Are you giving up? You conspired with the Lich to use it to obtain Hagasha's ultimate power. The power, getting it under control, granting Leithani and her sharpest sword. But Fremont and I have tried so many different methods to force our way into that space. It's really something that the one who finally managed to open the way was an outsider. Whatever her motives, she has given us a chance. I will not allow an unknown threat to continue looming over Leithania, of course. I would rather it descend more safely and discreetly, but at least we can end it here. If you made up your mind, the Liches will show you to the throne of the Witch King. Young Lich, you've been here all along? You misunderstand me, Leithania's eternal grace. I am but a lowly messenger. Kill me, you will gain nothing but a shred of death scattered on the. I received a message from the Master. He's presently within the Genesis Horn. Only by joining forces with the austere authority to once again track down the power of Herkulshaf will you disperse the dark clouds hanging over Zwillingstürme. Well done. But the Master also warns the Genesis Horn as unstable as you and he both anticipated. Once Herkulshaf's power dissipates, the spite of the Witch King within the void will collapse, pushing the barrier between reality and cause a more serious problem. When the final moment comes, your choice will decide the fate of Leithania as it ever was. But a single thread. Let's just always come and go, and to be oh so irritating. Kel, I'm here. Find the lich from before, the young man raised by Fremont. He's also a lich, but he's not a lich though. Do what you can to protect the people in the amphitheater, and on the off chance that there's no off chance, you and Organdi will surely return victorious. Once more, what is your mission? To eliminate any threat to Lithania and its source. Good. The shots watchers stand ready. Remember, your signal is my command. When the time comes, if there are no new orders, they will act. Come out. So, yeah. There's a lot we should move out to. Both the Liches and the Conference stand always talking about the fate of Lithania and about the fate. We've been here, atop the two tallest spires in over 2 decades. Does Lithanian really belong to us, or still just the chosen vessels, carrying the fate of the country on board and shield? That's the problem at hand. The sun has suffered too many times now. Our duet remains tacit. But this is the way we were born, no? So long as we play, we cooperate. That is the mission we have been given. But at this time, we will always have our understanding. Indeed, I have no doubt that we will once again achieve victory for Daytona. But sooner or later, you will have to face me to answer me. Hildegard, when we call Confront again, what do you want to do? We're taking such great risks to bring the future of Lithonia. That future. Twins are ready to enter the Genesis orb. This spatial turbulence will be more intense there. We'll need to use the strings to hold the horn, but who knows how long we can drag it. Yo, this is something only a lich can do. For me, I must cover the old man and Ebenhauser's retreat. Only by blocking these dark things can the people be safe. That's the only way those who've entered the Genesis horn can return safely. Do you need me to stitch up your wounds for you? 9. The pain keeps me awake. I nearly forgot, right, that's what allows you to move undisturbed by the notes. Unlike the other Italians in the amphitheater, all mostly succumb to the altered tune of the Golden Gesats. That's a good thing too. They heard the sound of the remnants emanating out of the dead. Lose their minds. The Gesats Watcher and the Twin Empresses are doing what they can to weave melodies and defend the people's sanity. And the guys that didn't stop playing and entered the Genesis, only the Gesats Watcher will be left. The Archer are very strong, but Archer arts. How can they resist the chaos of the void? The same goes for you, Lessing. Both you and your body and your will are being consumed. Your blood will run dry. Are you saying that I'm not an immortal lich? So what if you... It is precisely because we are liches that we understand the absolute nature of chaos. It's like unto boundless knowledge. Then what should we do? Admit our insignificance and helplessness, do nothing and wait for a greater power to crush us. Wait for your chaos to devour us. I'd rather take my life into my own hands and listen to the sound of the last drop of blood falling from my wounds as I collapse. Just remember all those years ago when the Master rescued Mir and Emir. We all thought you were minutes from death. You were so small, so thin, so fragile. Like you would shatter if touched by a strand of thread. But you survived, covered its scars, with a temperament more and more like the Master. Okay. It was you who helped me survive, just like the liches have helped Latanian for so many years. The winds are moving, I should find the other liches. Blessing, my unorthodox little brother, I listen for your voice on the... I just hope that I find my threads won't be your dying breaths. You're actually unique. Wow. Okay. The dead don't feel pain or exhaustion. Resurgence anonymous and chaos repeating to the last second. Once the movement is gone, will it be just you making such noise? It sounds truly awful. He slowly unwinds the wrapping on his longsword. The cloth is long enough to loose over his ears, but he doesn't do that. After so many years of hard work, Lessing has grown accustomed to focusing all his attention on the edge of his blade. The theme of Latania will be rewritten by each and every one of us. And before that, it is just a battle. Victory or defeat, life or death, none of bears consideration. Okay. I am actually almost done, but I am suddenly so tired I don't know. So, for now, goodbye and good night.